Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm just here with a quick little, just my personal opinions on the brand new Goku Black Ultimate deck that came out just a couple days ago. And I finally got my hands on it. I played a couple games with it tonight, with my quick build of it, based off lists I saw on Stage 0 and Cross Worlds. And I just feel like we got shafted. Like, Goku Black players have been looking forward, the Goku Black / Zamasu players have been looking for, just a good Zamasu or Goku Black leader. And when it was announced that the Goku Black was going to be the main focus on the Ultimate deck reboot, I was like, holy shit, yes, this is it. And when the cards came out, I immediately lost a lot of hype, unfortunately. The cards they're not bad, but they're not good. And in a meta that we are currently in, which is heavily favored towards aggro, this deck doesn't compete. Like, you throw this into red, and red will steamroll this. Unless you are, like, one of the smartest players out there, and you see exactly what you need to see, this deck is... it just feels like it's dead on arrival. Now, let me tell you what parts I feel like are a letdown. When you think of blue leaders, what's something that you always associate with blue leaders? Being able to manipulate energy. And this deck does manipulate energy to a certain extent at the cost of critting your own life. That is the ability of the unawakened leader and the awakened side. Is you crit a life, you gain energy for the turn, and then you have to get rid of that energy at the end of turn. In fact, that's baked into a lot of its archetypes, where if you trash an energy based off your skill, you get to restand certain cards in the deck. But I want to focus on the 3 cards you see in front of you. The unawakened leader, the awakened leader, and the Z leader. And where I feel like the problems, arise from. So, first off, the unawakened leader not being able to draw is a huge detriment. Like, sure, we have 1-drop searchers, but most leaders, like 90% of leaders at least, can draw on their front side. This being a reboot deck, it can't draw on its front side, is incredibly weak. Because what Zamasu or Goku Black are you playing by, like, your turn 1, maybe turn 2, at the latest, that you would want to swing in to draw that card? Because you want to be able to awaken on your turn 2. That's the goal. So you're never going to swing with a Zamasu or a Goku Black, if everything works out. You're never going to swing with any of those cards to get that draw. So it's wasted potential. You can't do the energy ramp, unless you have 2 or more energy. So at the very least, your turn 2. So the very earliest, your turn 2. And then at that point, it is pretty simple to awaken. You combo with a card on your defensive step. If you go first, you charge energy, you combo with a card on your defensive step. Your turn 2, you crit a life to go up to 3 energy, you play your Zamasu Z battle card, and then you can awaken. Now, here's the next problem. Most leaders nowadays, most newer meta relevant leaders, when they awaken, they draw 1, untap 1. You would think a blue leader would do that, right? No, it doesn't. You just draw 2, which is very old school a way of awakening. Like, the Cell leader doesn't even do that from the previous Ultimate box, as far as I'm aware. So why the heck do they not let a blue leader at least untap 1? I was in a situation tonight where I was forced to go down to 4 life. I awakened, and then I realized, oh, I don't get to untap 1. So I immediately could not Z-awaken as well on defense, or even Z-awaken that same turn. Defensively. So you draw 2, and then you add cards from your deck Sorry, from your life until you have 6 left. So at most, you draw 4 cards if you are at a full 8 life. But in most cases, if you're going first, you're not going to be at full life. I definitely feel like this deck wants to go second, if anything, but it feels like, I don't know, I'm still trying to think of it. Because if you go second, you can swing in, charge a card, you're at full life. Then on the kickback, your opponent, you're still gonna, there's no way you're gonna be able to awaken at 8 life. Not if your opponent's any competent player. Anyway, then we go to the awaken side. Super Saiyan Rose, Goku Black, the beginning of the return to despair. Don't like the name. Once per turn, they do change it to once per turn when one of your Zamasu or Goku Black cards attacks, draw 1. That's pretty neat. That means you can attack with a leader, you can attack with any of your Zamasu or Goku Black battle cards. That's, that's cool. That's actually not too bad. Once per turn, you can take a card from life, add it to your energy, and essentially, it's basically the leader side. Minus the being able to draw 1 now when the leader attacks. So a slight increase. So you'd think, okay, the Z leader should really pick up the slack here. In certain ways it does, but unfortunately not enough to be relevant. Then we have Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black, Dark Purple Sickle. Also don't like the name. That's just me personally. You can awaken at 4 or less life, and you tap 1 blue, and you drop 2 Z energy. The first problem with this card, I'll give it credit that being able to awaken at 4 life is much better than most Z leaders being only able to be used if you have 3 or less. But the fact that this is still a 15k body, when most other Z leaders are 20k. So why didn't this get the 20k? When this card, it has the same, once per turn, when a Zamasu or Goku Black card attacks, you draw 1. And then, this is actually, I'll admit, this is a cool ability. You can take a Goku Black from your Z energy and charge it. But at the end of the turn, you do have to still drop it. This deck needed some type of permanent ramp. Whether it's just a one-time permanent ramp, maybe the Z leader had a one-time use ability of once per game you can keep one of the Goku Blacks you charge. But the fact that most of the deck lets you easily put in Goku Black cards into your Z energy, for the most part, it's pretty easy to have one in there. So you're always going to have a target for this. Luckily, you're not taking life anymore, which is great. And then finally, the activate battle once per turn. If your life is at 2 or less, and you have a Goku Black in your Z energy, this card gets 5k power and double strike. 20k double strike is not that dangerous anymore. That's why I feel like this card needed to be a 20k. That way, at least being a 25k double is a slight bit better. But overall, like, even comparing this to the Cell Ultimate deck, that deck was incredibly meta-relevant right after it was released. You could just get 2 of those, put it together, and you could do fairly well at locals. Putting 2 of these together just doesn't... It's a neat deck, and what my buddy Derek likes to say about these types of leaders is that they're fair. They're not great, they're not bad, but they're fair. And I feel like this deck is on the low end of fair. And because of that, it's not going to be relevant. It's not going to hold its own in any of the current meta with decks like Sin and Gogeta. Hell, even other blue decks like Gamma, Gohan Superhero, Soul Striker. This deck just doesn't compete. It takes too long to set things up. And it just fails for me, who's primarily a blue player. And I'm like the blue player in my friend group. This just doesn't... This is a bad blue leader. It needed to untap an energy on Awaken. Because that could have helped... It feels like without that, you're being set back 1 extra turn. It needed some way more of protecting the indestructible card. Because with Red's ability to neg cards down fairly easily, those cards will be destroyed, and then your entire strategy is kaput. You know, it's worthless. And the Zeno tournament promo destroys all gods on your opponent, essentially all gods on your opponent's board, going through barrier and indestructible. So you have a tournament promo that literally just destroys this deck that costs 1 to play. You have a color that completely just can ruin your chain. And this is the problem with the yellow Majin Buu or blue Majin Buu decks. When you have to, build up a chain in order to make something awesome happen, as soon as that chain's destroyed, you're done. And I feel like this is that once again, but now thrown on Goku Black. It's upsetting. I was really hoping this deck would play a bit better. I'm still going to keep playing it. I'm still going to test it. I'm going to do my best to figure out some way to make this deck meta relevant. But if they aren't going to do anything about the current big decks like Sin, Gogeta, Gamma, Trunks Gita, this deck is dead on arrival. Along with that, the tournament promo, Zeno, it's just, if this deck did well, people are just going to start citing in Zeno, and then the deck will no longer represent. It will no longer be able to compete. So, unfortunately, this deck is, as of right now, I think this deck is dead on arrival. But hopefully things will change. Hopefully the ban list will be able to shake things up a bit. And, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you having success with the leader? Please let me know if you've got any sweet spice you want to throw my way. As a Goku Black player, and like as somebody with, Goku and Goku Black on my arm. If I can show you with that. That being weird. There you go. Oh, sorry. Microphone again. I just want to see this leader do good and this deck do well. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will check you on the next video. Take care.